Hello, Miles Okazaki here with another video for my book Fundamentals of Guitar. So on page 134 there's a section called Polypulse. Polypulse meaning more than one pulse. Here's one pulse, here's another. I have 3 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, right? People call this 3 against 2 or 2 against 3, depending on the perspective. So the perspectives might be, if I put a primary pulse out here, I'm feeling a duple pulse, dividing the beat into 2 parts. And I group each of those parts into 3s, like 3/8 notes, 3/8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right? Then together, they're this sound. Now if I put this as the primary and I feel it as triplets, and I group those triplets into 2s, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? So it's back to the same sound, but it's a matter of perspective, you know, how you, each of those has a different feel. The point of this being, like, with each of these polypulses, with 2 pulses, there's 2 different ways to see them, you know, or to feel them, and they have different, you know, they have different feelings, those 2 ways. So I wanted to get into more of them. I mean, most people are familiar with a couple of these, you know, and some of them are very common, you know, to see in musical situations, but I wanted to see, like, well, how many kind of are there if we wanted to really get a little deeper into it, you know. The question is always, like, where to stop, you know, because you could make an infinite number of them. You just take any number and put it against any number. You could say, like, 43 against 11 or something, and that's going to be something, but it's going to be kind of not practical, right? So I decided to go up to 8. I'm saying in terms of how many ways to subdivide the beat, you know, 8 being like 32nd notes. So I say 8th note triplet, 16th note quintuplet, sextuplet, septuplet, 32nd note. Can't say those words. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 subdivisions of the beat. So it gives you 7 different things to play with. That seemed like a good number. And then put each one of those against each other one. So 2 against 2, 2 against 3, 2 against 4, 2 against 5, 2 against 6, 2 against 7, 2 against 8, 3 against 2, 3 against 3, 3 against 4, etc. So if you have 7 numbers and you put them against 7 other numbers, it gives you 49 like number combinations, right? 7 against 6, 3 against 8, whatever, you know. Now, of those 49, a lot of them are either kind of trivial, meaning that they're the same thing, like 2 against 2, right? 2 against 2 is kind of meaningless. It's just 2 of the same thing, right? So we wipe those off the list. 2 against 2, 3 against 3, 4 against 4, all those. Also, there's ones where it's like 1 is just twice as big as the other one, like 2 against 4, or 2 against 6, you know, or 1 is a multiple of the other one. And what happens is your secondary beat, if this is my primary beat or whatever, one of them, they both just coincide in the same space, so they don't make anything new, you know. So those we take off. Then you have ones that are like, say 4 against 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is, you can see that this is the same as 2 against 3, right? So those are off. All those are off too. 4 against 6, you know, 6 against 8, whatever. So those kind of things are off. What that leaves you is 28 unique combinations, or polypulses, 28 of them that sound different from each other. There's like 14 relationships, but then there's 2 sides to each one, so that gives you 28. So the question is, why put all this theoretical rhythmic stuff into a book on guitar? Well, a guitar is is a little different than some instruments because you have only one hand creating all the rhythm. Like if you have if you're playing drums or you're playing piano, you could have two limbs playing two different things. Here you have one limb producing all the rhythm. Okay. So if you want to get two things going that are independent, you have to split up the duties of this hand. And the most obvious way to split it, if you want to do two parts, binary splitting, is the thumb and the fingers, because they're opposable. They grab like this, right? So what I'll do is I will go through all 28 of these polypulses, and I'll use the thumb and the fingers. I'll play this pulse, and on the top I'll put some pitches. Could be any pitches. Here I'm using E, B, and D. So this is like a G major 6 chord or E minor 7 chord in first inversion. I'm also going to use a metronome, so that on the tape you can tell I'm not cheating. Okay, so we go 2 against 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On the bottom, on the top, that's 1, 2. Right? Very slow beat on the top. Slow pulse. So the order I'm putting these in is from slowest to fastest in terms of the relationship of the top to the bottom. Okay, next is slightly faster. 3 against 8. Triplets. Right? I have triplets and I'm grouping them in eighths. Next up, 2 against 5. Grouping eighth notes in fives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Next up, 3 against 7. Triplets grouped in sevens. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A little awkward. Better to just feel it. Okay, next. Four against 7. I'll play it staccato. So you can hear how the speed of the secondary pulse, the top one, is getting faster, right? Next up, 3 against 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Triplets grouped in fives. Okay, now the next one, this is the first kind of a challenge. So this is 5 against 8. 5 against 8 is going to be very close to 3 against 5 because of so the thing with Fibonacci numbers, the 3 and 5 and 5 and 8. If we went to 8 and 13, they'd be getting even closer. That's another topic though. So, but this is, if 3 against 5 sounds like this, right? That's the beginning of 5 against 8 is going to be see, it's very similar, but it has to go on a little longer. So we got to feel 5. Okay. Singing the underlying pulse to sub-pulse in order to so you can hear it. So now next one is easy. 2 against 3. Now the upper pulse is just 1.5 times as long as the lower pulse. It's closing in on it. 5 against 7 is next. So, back to this feel. Now I got to group these in 7s. Against 4. Triplets and 4s. Now 4 against 5. Sixteenth notes grouped in 5s. Five against 6. Back to this feel. Now I got to group the quintuplets and 6s. Right? Okay. 6 against 7. Feeling sextuplets, grouping them in 7s. Okay, 7 against 8. This one's a little tough. Let's see. So this is the first time we have to try and feel septuplets. 7 and a beat. That's the feel I'm going for, right? Check it, 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 and grouping those in 8s. Might sound like this. Legato. Okay. So that's all the first ones. If we went further, we saw a pattern: 3 against 4, 4 against 5, 5 against 6. 6 against 7, 7 against 8. If we kept going, and we go to 8 against 9, and we didn't go up to 9, stopped at 8. So now we've gotten to the point where the secondary pulse, the top notes, got shorter and shorter to the point where they're now the same. It's 1 to 1, the same as the primary pulse. Alright, so now we'll flip it. Instead of playing ones where the polypulses, where the secondary pulse is longer than the primary pulse, is the primary pulse here. These ones will have the secondary pulse is shorter than the primary pulse. We're going to play all the inverses. So we ended with 7 at 8. Now we're going to go to 8 over 7. We'll change the chord. We'll go minor for this half. 8 against 7. Okay, 7 against 6. We gotta go back to septuplets and groupment sixes. Bit of a weird one. 6 against 5. Sextuplets grouped in 5s. Not too bad. Okay, 5 against 4. Against 3. Common 1. Okay, much less common is next one. 7 against 5. So this one, you have to feel septuplets and group them in 5s. Not so easy. This one is though. 3 against 2. Right? This we're going to look at is 8 to 5. 30-second notes grouped in groups of 5. Now 5 against 3 is the next one, which is similar, very close to 8 against 5, but not the same type of feeling. This is quintuple feel. Grouped in 3s. Seven against 4. Seven against 3. Five against 2. Eight against 3. Check it, check it, check it. 30-second notes grouped in 3s. Right, and then the very last one. 7 against 2. Remember we started with 2 against 7. Now we're at 7 against 2. Check it, check it, check it, check it, check it, check it, check it. Okay, so that took a while. I'm going to stop this metronome. Okay, so what's the point of all that? After doing that, I feel like I've got a pretty good exercise in feeling different subdivisions of the beat, especially those 5s and 7s. Those are a little harder to get accurate. And my hand, my right hand, is feeling a little warmed up, like in terms of you know, getting some accuracy there and some independence. So from this point, you know, might go into some creative stuff, so I'll give a couple examples of you know, some places it could go. All right, so I wasn't using any melodic material on those exercises. I was just trying to get the right hand together and try to get accuracy there. But if we start moving stuff in the left hand, making some melodies or doing some other moving pitches, then things get complicated real fast. So let's just take, I'll take 4 against 3, which isn't too hard, right? And I'll take a melodic shape, say, 3/5, E, B, F sharp. That'll be my shape that I'm using. I'll use the same shape. I'll transpose it up a minor third and an octave, and use G, D, A as my second shape. I need two shapes, one for each. Actually, it's the same shape, just transposed. So that's keeping it kind of simple in terms of the raw materials. Okay, I'm going to map those onto that rhythm. So this is going on the thing that's going by 4s, and this is the thing that's going by 3s. So that's going to sound like, let's see, something like so you can see they're moving at different speeds. The same shape is moving at different speeds. This one's moving a little faster. So that's got to happen 4 times while the other one happens 3 times. So they kind of phase against each other to do some interesting stuff. Okay, I'll do one that's a little more complicated. So I'll do a melodic shape like this. And this is 4 notes instead of 3 notes, and it's has a certain shape to it. Up a semitone, down a fifth, down a semitone. And for my lower pulse, I'll use the same shape. Except I can't actually do the same shape because I run out of range. So I'll do it backwards. This is the same shape, but just a mirror image, right? Instead of up a semitone, down a fifth, down a semitone, it's down a semitone, up a fifth, up a semitone, right? Okay, so this is already more complicated for the pitches, keeping track of what's what. For the Polypulse, I'll say. Now, let's see, let's do. Five against 3, right? Okay, I'll do a little slower than that here. Don't go. See if I can do this without messing up. That's it. So I was trying to, as I was playing, I was trying to hear, like, kind of focus my listening on the top pulse and see if that felt like kind of groups of 4 moving at a tempo, and then focus to the other pulse and see if that one sounded like groups of 4. So it really sounds like 2 different things happening. Let's see, I'll do one more thing since I'm playing this this old classical guitar. I'll do something based on this kind of sound. But more with this kind of rhythm. So let's say, yeah, I'll use 7 against 5, right? And I will I'll put the 7 down here and the 5 up here, and I'll alternate. So these will alternate and these will alternate, and that should do something interesting. First I gotta get the rhythm. fun, just you could take any, use these tools for anything you want, but it's kind of fun to get them together, and then you can start to feel like you can sometimes get a bigger sound on the guitar because you can have multiple things going on, and you can get some more detail in the right hand. So this was a long video. Sorry about that, but I hope it was interesting. And anyway, the whole point of this is this book, of which this is just the beginning of a section. That was like 3 pages from 134 to 136. And after that, it gets into much more sort of detailed rhythms and all that stuff. This is the beginning of how to sort of work on feeling different subdivisions of the beat and dealing with independence in the right hand. So thanks for watching. Check out the book. Check out some of these other videos that are up, and that's about it. All right, thanks.